Is going on, everybody? What is going on? The catch. Fam, hope everyone is doing phenomenal tonight, man. Hope you guys are having a great Tuesday. It is time for week 13 of the 2022 fantasy football season, guys. That means we have about 3 weeks left. 3 weeks left for majority of you guys in terms of your regular season. I mean, it is crunch time. You guys are making playoff pushes. You guys are fighting for playoff seeding. You guys are fighting for the playoffs in general. So you guys know what time it is, man. Time for some live week 13 fantasy Q&A. So hop in the live chat, man. Let me know what you guys need. Start, sits, ads, drops. We still got some time for the waiver wire trades. If your trade deadline is not yet over, whatever it may be, man, roster confidence, roster non-confidence, hop in the live chat. Let me know what you guys need, and please excuse my awful setup while I am streaming on vacation at the beach. Don't have my PC with me for pretty obvious reasons. So doing my best here. You guys know we've already ran a couple streams throughout the week, but doing my best here, and happy as ever to hang out with you guys and talk some fantasy football. So like always, you know what we're going to do. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk some fantasy football. So hop in the live chat. Let's get it popping, man. All right. Carol World, what's up, bro? Good to see you. Good to see you. Got a playoff bye. Let's get it. Let's get it. We got MJ in the house. What's good, bro? Good to see you. Bucks or Seahawks? Maybe Packers. I like the Seahawks a lot this week, personally. I think the Seahawks are a really good play against the Rams. Where did the Chiefs? How did they finish overall last? In terms of just of defensive points scored, I had 11, so I feel like Seattle is a pretty safe lock for like 10-ish points. I mean, before last week, Seattle was like defense 6 or 7. They've moved back to defense 8. So just 1 point last week, but nonetheless, they do have some pretty solid stat lines overall in the season. So I go the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are a great start. I picked them up a week early in one of my leagues. All right, MJ, we got Derrick Henry or Nick Chubb. I go Nick Chubb. Yeah, Nick Chubb's gonna have a monster day against. I mean, Houston's one of the worst teams in the league against the run, so I go Nick Chubb all day long, man. Hasty or B Rob? I'd probably go B Rob. We're not entirely sure if ETN is gonna be out yet or not. So like, if you're throwing it together right now, I probably go Hasty at the moment. Excuse me, I probably go Brian Robinson. I'm sorry. Patty Mahomes or Jalen Hurts? I gotta go Mahomes here. I mean, I love me some Jalen Hurts, but it's a little bit of a tougher matchup for Hurts. So ultimately, I'll go Patrick Mahomes. That game just feels like it's going to have a lot of offensive points scored as well. So I'd rather be a part of that game as opposed to. I mean, it's not like the Eagles and Titans game isn't going to be competitive, but I feel like overall the game with more points is probably going to lean towards the Chiefs and the Bengals at the end of the day. So, all right, let's see here. Abraham, what's up? What do we got here? Gino versus Rams with no Aaron Donald or Watson revenge game. I'd rather go Gino. I'd rather go Gino personally. I really feel like the Browns are going to run the football a ton this week. I really think they're going to ease Deshaun Watson into this game. So I actually like Geno Smith here a little bit more at the end of the day. What's up, Space Ghost? Good to see you, man. Going with JT and Barkley over Pierce this week, and if so, flex Pierce over Kirk or no. I would still start Jonathan Taylor and Barkley over Damian Pierce. I love Damian Pierce's matchup, don't get me wrong, but players of that caliber, JT, Barkley, I would not bench them. But you could certainly bench Damian Pierce over Christian Kirk. A little bit of a disappointing week last week. We thought Christian Kirk would play a little bit better. He gets the Broncos this week. It's not a good matchup. So, excuse me, he does not play the Broncos. The Ravens play the Broncos. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, though, I would probably go with that three-headed RB attack. I mean, Kirk against the Lions is really tempting, though. I mean, Kirk against the Lions, Pierce against the Browns, both are fantastic starts. So I don't think you can go wrong there, but I would not sit JT or Barkley personally. Is CMC and Saquon still top 5 backs? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, going into the week, like there's a couple backs who have some really, really solid matchups who I think could finish in front of them. But if I'm not, yeah, I think I had Saquon at RB6 in the running back rankings video earlier. But yeah, I mean, both those guys are balling, dude. I mean, you just players like that, yeah. Barkley comes in as RB6 on the season. He gets Washington, Philadelphia, and Washington the next coming weeks. I know it's a little concerning, but like it was even concerning against Dallas, right? We look at the way that defense has operated, but you still had 15 fantasy points, you know. So I have no problem with CMC or Saquon. I think they'll both be perfectly fine. But a down week for CMC in this past week, but to put things in perspective, he's still your RB4 in PPR at the end of the day. Still had 6 targets in this game, so I think he'll be good to go, man. I really do. Those two guys I don't worry about at all. All right, MJ, we got Kittle versus Miami or T-Hawk. Ooh. That one's super close because I see both these games being very competitive. I think Hawkinson is a safer play. If you want to play for a little bit more risk, a little bit more upside, go Kittle. But both these game scripts can be pretty good. So you really can't go wrong here. I'd probably go Hawkinson, but it's close. Would you go Seahawks over the Jets and the Bucks? I would at the moment. If we're just talking like a pure defensive stream, I think they're the better option. I think the better defenses overall are probably the Jets and the Buccaneers. But I mean, the Buccaneers Saints game is not a bad opportunity, but I see points scored in that game personally. In terms of the Jets on the week, they get the Vikings. I don't like that matchup. So Seahawks just feel like a good opportunity at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Waddle or Higgins? Ooh. The better matchup is Higgins, but I mean, Waddle, does it really matter? I probably, no. I'll go Higgins due to matchup, but you can't go wrong, man. What's up, Terrell? Pacheco, Gus, Pierce, Stevenson, E2. You have to start Ramondre Stevenson. You don't bench Ramondre Stevenson. RB8 so far in the season. There's no way he's not in your lineup. Gus, Pierce, Pacheco. I actually go Dameon Pierce here. I think he bounces back this week against a bad Browns run defense against a team. I mean, this is just going to be a heated game. This is going to be a game where both sides are trying to score. So I like him here. I do. I mean, Pacheco's got kind of a tough matchup. The Bengals defense not that bad, and Gus the Bus just not a high ceiling. And at the end of the day, and it's not a great matchup against the Broncos either. So personally, if it's my lineup, I'm going with Pierce and Stevenson for sure. All right, Mike White or Deshaun Watson? I go Mike White. I think I'm sticking by it. I think the Browns are going to run the football a ton. What's up, Warrior Loft? Good to see you, bro. 10-2. I clinched as the first seed. Let's go. If you were me, would you pick up Edwards, Dobbins, or handcuff Jordan Mason or Madison? I'd probably handcuff Jordan Mason. Or excuse me, I'd probably pick up Madison. Yeah, handcuff. I mean, Mason's kind of interesting too, but I'd probably pick up Madison as a handcuff personally because you get that back and forth with Edwards and Dobbins, you know. So, by the way, guys, I'm sorry my camera's like super shaky because of my awful setup. So it is what it is. I'm just happy to talk fantasy with you guys. All right, what's good, Sport Dog? Both my teams lost in week 12, so I'm thinking of adding Zay Jones and letting Everett go. Also looking at adding Seattle's defense. Should I hang on to Rondo more or keep him? If you're in a win now position, you can probably drop Rondo more because he's on bye week. He's banged up, and he's got a bad matchup in week 14. So like the chances of him getting picked up, they're still not. I mean, like he's 71% rostered according to Sleeper, so they're still pretty high. Like he was on a really good streak before he got hurt and everything. But he gets New England and Denver and then Tampa Bay in the coming weeks. Like the only reason, like if you really need to win now that you wouldn't drop him is because he plays Atlanta in Week 17. You know, so at the end of the day, if you really need to win now, I think you can move on from him. I think the moves that you're looking to make are good moves as well. All right, what's good, Cole? Watson or Evans? Watson. Watson. You know, that Monday Night Football game for the Bucks probably gonna get a little dicey. You know, Marshawn Lattimore historically really hasn't played that well against Mike Evans, but that's not real. I mean, I just rather start Watson right now. I mean, he gets the Bears. They just got torched. I go Watson. What's good, Patrick G? Monty, Wilson, or Cooper in standard? Pick 2 of 3. Okay. It's tough here, you know, because in standard, like the pressure's on to make the right call because you have to unless these players just have a massive game, if they don't find the end zone, they're almost like pointless, you know. Believe it or not, I probably go Montgomery and Wilson because I really lean towards the running back position for that same reason when it comes to standard scoring formats. Jeff Wilson is kind of where it's a little tricky though. Okay, because Cooper gets the Texans right, and the Texans have played fairly well against the receiver position. His first week with Deshaun Watson was a little interesting. He had 12 targets in both of his last 2 games, but he hasn't played well in away games either, and it's an away game. You know, outside of Week 11 against Buffalo, of course, which was a season high. So I don't know, maybe that away game curse for Amari Cooper is over. But when we look at Jeff Wilson, let's get back to that point, right? He gets the Niners. It's a tough matchup for Jeff Wilson this week. So I might go Amari Cooper and Monty. You know, I mean, the chances of Wilson scoring against his former team are still pretty high. But at the end of the day, it's a tough matchup against the Niners. So I'm definitely starting Monty. I think he's going to have a good game against the Packers. But it's close between the other two at the end of the day. I would trust your gut. But there's definitely an argument for either player if you follow me. Let me know what you think, man. All right, what's up, Tamian? Will Garrett Wilson do good this week? I do like Wilson this week. Yeah. I mean, it's not too crazy of a matchup. Again, I mean, the Vikings have been kind of up and down against the wide receiver position, so I'm not worried about Garrett Wilson. I think he'll be good to go, bro. A very solid flex option, full PPR. All right, what's up, Ibrahim? Can you rank these 1 through 4 just for this week? Adams, Chase, Amon-Ra, and A.J. Brown. Dude, right now I feel like I'm going Adams number 1. You know, like regardless of matchup. Where has Adams moved up to in overall rankings? Adams is coming in as wide receiver 4. I'd probably go Adams as number 1. I just, when he gets the Chargers, a good enough matchup. I just can't imagine a scenario when you got Jamar Chase probably coming back on a snap count. And you got Amon-Ra, who's absolutely balling right now. And A.J. Brown, he's been struggling. I mean, hey, do you guys know A.J. Brown played through like a ruptured eye or something from being sick? Like he puked so much that his eye vessel. Did you guys see that? That's kind of why he played so poorly. He was kind of just out there as a decoy. But it's kind of tough when you look at the next tier of receivers here. I'd probably go Devontae Adams, Amon-Ra, Chase, then Brown. It's tough because, I mean, A.J. Brown, no, I take that back. I think A.J. Brown, as long as A.J. Brown is fully healthy, I think A.J. Brown has a really big week because he plays his former team, Tennessee Titans, and that secondary is awful. I think he's going to go off, man. I mean, I know it's been kind of a rough little stretch here for A.J. Brown, but he's still 12.6 points at touchdown last week. I don't see anything indicating that he's still having any issues with the eye or being sick or anything. So I take it back. Oh, this is so tough, man. So tough. I still go Adams. I really like Amon-Ra right now. I really like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Oh, it's so tough, man. I just really had that gut feeling that Brown's going to pop off this week. Oh, this is crazy. I'm going to go Devontae Adams, Amon-Ra, Brown, then Chase. Oh, it's so close. I definitely have Adams number one. It's so close with the rest of them. Chase could still be on a snap count. So that's my argument. He's last, but it's like, man, Chase could pop off even on a snap count, a snap count against the Chiefs as well. That's a tough one, bro. Good to have you in the house, Warrior Loft. JJ or Adams? I'm going to go Adams here just because Sauce Gardner, but it's a great matchup between Sauce and JJ. Sutton, Burks, Pacheco, Gus, Slayton need one. I probably go Sutton. No, I go Burks. Give me Burks. No, don't give me a Bronco. Give me Burks, even against the Eagles. See what he's made of. But you could consider Sutton here too. How many points did he finish with last week? Another 13-point range game, 13.5. It's a pretty good matchup against the Ravens. Like, you could go Sutton for a floor, but I think that Burks brings far more upside. Slayton's actually not a bad option. I take that back. I probably go Slayton for a floor against the Jaguars than Burks. Sutton's kind of like, because I think that Slayton brings the floor, but he also brings some nice upside in a good matchup. Sutton, I just don't want to start Broncos players right now. I really don't. So Slayton, Burks for upside, but a risky matchup than Sutton. I don't have as much faith in Pacheco or Gus. Let's see here. Ooh, Chiefs Broncos is no longer the Sunday night game. Of course, they're gonna make NFL app's gonna make me open to see what is. Oh, don't tell me it's the Browns game. No, okay, it's the Dolphins Chargers. Okay, interesting. Huh? Wait. So the Chargers game is flex, but it says, oh, this is for week 14. All right, so week 14 is getting a move. I was like, wait, the Chargers and the Dolphins aren't playing this week, and neither are the Chiefs and Broncos. So the Chiefs Broncos game will be a 4 or 5 game next week, and the Dolphins Chargers game will be a Sunday night game. All right, nobody cares. All right, DPJ, Burks, or Metcalf? I go Metcalf. Nick, what's up, Nick? Good to see you, bro. I go Metcalf here, man. I got the faith in my boy. Cooper or Kirk? I'll go Kirk. Oh, it's so close. It's super close. Kirk for upside, Cooper for a floor. What's good, Albert? Great to have you, bro. What's up, man? Fran, pick up Melvin Gordon or Warren. Probably Warren. I'd rather take a shot on the Steelers running back situation as opposed to the Chiefs, where you've already got several running backs in rotation and Pacheco taking the bulk of the carries. Like, I feel like the Steelers running back room is a little bit more open for a potential RB1. Deontay Johnson or Watson? I go Watson. Far more upside, MJ. Should I keep Tony or drop him for Alexander or Titan defense, which gets Houston in week 16 playoffs? If I win the next 2 weeks, I get a bye in the first round. That like font is showing up like super small. Is it Bam Alexander? Hold on. Just Alexander Madison, right? It's only Madison I can think of. Well, I might make a move for the Titans defense. And if you're thinking that far ahead, I'd probably go with the Titans defense. I don't think you need to necessarily hold on to Kadarius Toney. Fortunately, I think the hype train may have just been hype once again. I mean, don't get me wrong. Give him credit for what he did when he was healthy, but the health is a big problem. What's up, Rodriguez? Would you start Mike Williams? If he plays, I don't have a problem starting him, but you definitely want him in the flex because there's still a lot of risk here. But yeah, he gets a good matchup against the Raiders, so it's an important game for both those teams. So yeah, in the flex, but that's it. Patrick, thanks, sir. I think Cooper scores too. They're close, super close there, man. Cooper's a good start. I don't have a problem with Cooper there, man. Rich, what's good, man? Waddle, Lockett, Thielen, Wilson, Watson, pick 3. You got to start Waddle. You got to start Lockett. And I go Watson. Garrett Wilson's very close here. And Thielen had a great game last week. But I go Waddle, Lockett, and Watson. Iffy on Wilson, but could be a revenge game. It's close. Very close there, man. Yeah, and, I mean, Cooper's got the better matchup technically. All right, what's up, Sean? I have Swift, CMC, K9, White, and ETN with only 2 healthy running backs. Which should I try and pick up for playoffs? It depends on who's out there. Let me know. I don't want to just be spitballing names and have no idea who's available for you. So, depends on who's out there, man. You could always try and handcuff a couple of the running backs here as well. What's Sport Dog? In my 8 team, I picked up Rashad White. He did well in Fournette's absence. Is he worth a flex in week 13? I have 2 flex spots. Should I go with receiver? I'm starting Eckler and Mixon. I mean, you can still start Rashad White moving forward. A little bit of a tougher matchup against the Saints as opposed to the Browns this past week. But you can still start White. I think he's perfectly fine. I think he's going to get the bulk of the touches, but I do think as long as Leonard Fournette is healthy, he will still get plenty of touches as well. So I think this will be a committee. I think Leonard Fournette's going to get a lot of goal line work, third down work, pass catching work, and everything. Although Rashad White had 9 targets, 9 receptions last week. So yeah, it depends on who else you have. But you can start White in the flex. That's fine. Evans or Godwin? Godwin brings the floor. He's a little bit of a safer play where Evans has a little bit more inconsistency at the end of the day, but probably more upside, although we finally saw Godwin find the end zone this past week. So I probably go Godwin because he just feels safer overall. The Bronze, I'm in the Catch Fam League. I don't care. You are number 1 in points scored right now. You've got a very good opportunity. I was looking at your team, and it's your team, outside of your first 4 starters, is not even that good. Which I mean, obviously you're killing it, so your team's pretty good. But it's your primary starters are just so ridiculously stacked. Hold on, I want to read off your. I gotta find your team. Oh crap! What league are you in? 3 or 2? Hold on. Yeah, your primary starters are Josh Allen, Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders, Tyreek Hill, and Amari Cooper. It's just ridiculous. And you have Jamar Chase, who's been hurt for you as well. Other than that, your team's really not that great. We got Justin Tucker. We got to give him his props, right? But Kyle Pitts didn't work out for you. So you've got Pitts, Evan Ingram. Jacoby Myers hasn't had a bad year, he's a perfectly fine flex. Cordero Patterson's a fine flex. McKinnon, Beckham, Claypool, Gesicki's the rest of your team. The Bengals defense. So, there are still some good players there at the end of the day, but it's really that primary, Allen, Jacobs, Sanders, Hill, Cooper, and Chase when he's back is just ridiculous. I mean, you think about it, dude. Josh Jacobs is RB2. Josh Allen's QB2. Tyreek Hill is wide receiver 3. All those guys could finish. You could literally potentially end up with the QB1, RB1, and wide receiver 1, which is just stupid. And then, yeah, man, I put everything on Discord. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, you have the most points scored out of all the teams. So you're on a good pace to win the Catch Fam League, man. Let's go. Oh, who is the most points scored across all leagues? I'm actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's you. Here, I've got it right here. In league number 1, the team with the most points is Spencer at 1,784.66. In league number 2, it's Mr. Sarcastic with 1,823.5. In league number 3, it is you with 1,842.5. So Mr. Sarcastic is about 19 points behind you. Then in league number 4, it's Grant sitting at 1,799.7 points. So it's you, man. You are the number 1 team in points scored right now. So you've got a good chance at getting the number 1 spot. It's good to see you, by the way. LeBron's good to hear from you, bro. Lucas, what's good, bro? Do I trade Miles Sanders for Rashad White? I would rather have Miles Sanders personally because he's got I know Kenneth Gainwell's a thing, and obviously Jalen Hurts is a thing, but I'd rather have pieces of the Eagles' offense, and he's the clear-cut RB1 there. So I'd rather have Miles Sanders. Carter, what's good, bro? Need one flex for the week. Juju, Gus, or DPJ. I put some faith back in Juju and go with Juju Smith-Schuster here. Tough week last week, but I think he'll bounce back. Lucas, do I start Hollywood or Olave? Whoo. Well, Hollywood's on bye week this week, so you have to start Olave. After bye week. Okay, Olave. Tough matchup next week for Hollywood. Do you know by chance if Saquon's O-line is healthy now? I don't have any updates there. Have to look into it. Hopefully some of those players can get back healthy, but they didn't look awful last week. So picked up Zonovan Knight for $3, dropped Akers. I also dropped Trey McBride and picked up Daniel Ellinger. Good pickups. Yeah, looks good to me. Is Bellinger back? Is he good to go? I hope so. Giants are optimistic he could return week 13. It's a great pickup, man. Yeah, I like Bellinger a lot, man, when he was healthy. So I think it's good pickup for sure. And Knight versus Akers kind of close, but I'm fine with that. Do you believe James Conner can pick his streak up after the bye and go through the playoffs? Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm good with Conner. I mean, he's actually played some tough defenses this season and hasn't played poorly against them. So, at the end of the day, while he's playing well on the ground, he's still getting enough passing involvement that I think his upside stays pretty consistent. So it is a tough stretch, though. So what you got to think when you look at James Conner. After the bye week, New England, Denver, Tampa Bay. Those are 3 really bad matchups. So we got that's what I don't worry about James Conner, his involvement, his skill set, whatever. I worry about the matchups more than anything for James Conner. So I would just keep that in mind. No way, John keeps hitting me with ads. You getting hit with ads, bro? Oh no. Oh no. LeBron's, I detest. I'm better. You're pretty close. You're up there in points, bro. Let's see. I'm already caught up to the chat. Let's go. What's up, Stober? Start one in the flex. Devonta Smith, Christian Kirk, Jamal Williams. It is a good matchup this week for Devonta Smith. And it's a good matchup for Kirk. Ooh, it's tough here, Stober. Because I think Jamal Williams is super safe, though. If you want a safe start, just go Jamal Williams. Good enough matchup against the Jags for him. But I think Christian Kirk bounces back this week. If you want an upside pick, it's probably Christian Kirk. Just 4 receptions last week, 46 receiving yards. Still had 9 targets, 8.1 fantasy points. So he gets Detroit and Tennessee. It's 2 really good matchups in the next 2 weeks. I go Christian Kirk. I go Christian Kirk. But it's so close, man. Devonta Smith against the Titans feels like a really good boomer bust option this week as well. So it's close. It's close. And, I mean, if you want just a safe start that you know is not going to harm you, I'd probably just go Jamal Williams. Probably going to get you 10-plus points no matter what, right? LeBron has had Chase on bench for the past 2 weeks and lost close both times. So, are you guys in the same league or are you just talking smack? All right, guys. So, caught up to the chat here. Let's take a look at what we got for the week. All right, Bills at Patriots. Thursday night football. Should be a good one, right? This is a big game for both these teams. I think all of your primary starters in this game from a fantasy perspective are probably starters for me. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. You definitely got to start those guys. It does get a little, what's up, Sick Nasty? Good to see you, bro. It does get a little dicey though, like because this is the Patriots defense played very poorly last week, but on the season they played very well. So guys like Devin Singletary, Dawson Knox, Gabe Davis, a little bit more questionable at the same time. In terms of the Patriots, though, Ramondre Stevenson's a start. Jacoby Myers been playing down the last 2 weeks or so, but he's still a player you can consider starting here. Outside of that, who else is really a primary starter on the Patriots other than their defense? You're probably going to start in their defense, not against the Bills. So you basically know exactly what you're getting from a fantasy perspective out of these two teams, right? Start Josh Allen, start Stephon Diggs. If you start Singletary, hopefully he's your flex and he's giving you somewhere between 8 and 17 fantasy points, but you just don't know. It's a bad matchup for Singletary. I don't feel like Dawson Knox has been consistent enough to start. He didn't play well against the Lions, which is not encouraging. Then you know exactly what you're getting out of Gabe Davis. Boom or bust option on a weekly basis. You're not going to, I mean, you're going to be really happy if you start him and he has one of those high point performances, but if he doesn't, you're just frustrated again, you know? So it's not a great matchup for him. In terms of the Patriots, Ramondre Stevenson, you just have to start, right? He's RB8 on the season. Damian Harris got banged up again. You're not starting Mac Jones. Jacoby Myers is a flex option on a weekly basis. This Bills defense has been struggling, so keep that in mind. Hunter Henry's been playing a little bit better as of late, but I don't necessarily love him. There's not a lot of consistency there. So you know what you're getting. I mean, Isaiah McKenzie's always an option, I guess, for the Bills too, but it is a pretty straightforward game to take a look at. You guys are in the same league, Bray? In the bronze? You guys been balling, man. What we got here? Sick Nasty. My wide receivers are Godwin, Hill, Olave. Flexes Rashad White. I have Pickens playing Atlanta on bench. Do you see anyone I could take out for Pickens? It's super close. Maybe Rashad White. Maybe Rashad White against the Saints is the only one I consider. The rest of them I probably wouldn't consider. But you can definitely consider going Pickens over White. But it's super close. Super, super close. Trust your gut there. Bro, you do have CMC and Henry in the playoffs. They both have great playoff schedules, too. It's crazy, man. All right, Commanders at Giants. This could be, hey, Commanders 7-5, Giants 7-4. Fighting for potentially the top of the division. Well, start Scary Terry here. Start Brian Robinson or Antonio Gibson in the flex. I don't feel good about, the rest of that squad. Oh, the Giants were banged up last week, didn't play well. I just don't feel great about the rest of the Commanders starters. For the Giants, start Barkley. You can start Darius Slayton. It's a good matchup for him. That's probably about it. Danny Dimes, I guess you could consider here for a streaming option. Broncos, Ravens. Ooh, this game just feels gross. What is up with the Ravens, man? They've just been playing down as of late. I don't want to start the Broncos players right now, man. Latavius Murray's fine, but it's not a good game script, not the best matchup here. Cortland Sutton's fine. But, the Broncos players just don't feel like players that I want in my starting lineups. Jerry Jeudy didn't play last week. If he plays, I guess he's fine. You know, the Ravens secondary played better this past week than they have in recent weeks, except against – well, I guess at the end of the game they kind of fumbled and they didn't play too well against Zay Jones. So, I don't know. I just hate this game. Ravens, Broncos. You could start both these defenses, I guess. Start Lamar Jackson. You can start Gus the Bus. Mark Andrews is fine, but I'm really staying away from this Ravens team right now. They got to figure it out offensively, and against the Broncos is not a good week. Prey lost to LeBron's brain. C-Dog, what's good, bro? What do you think of the trade? I get a Monroe, I give a Pittman and Deshaun Watson. I think it's a good trade. Go get that upside, man. Yeah, I like it. All right, what else we got? 1 o'clock games. We got Steelers, Falcons. I do like the Steelers receivers in this matchup. Deontay Johnson's kind of your floor play. Pickens is the upside play, especially in full PPR. So I think they're both fine. It's a good matchup for him. Pat Freiermuth, you just start on a weekly basis, especially with how many injuries we've seen to the tight end position. Going to see what happens at running back, but it's going to be tough. I mean, we got if Najee's not good to go, we got Warren, um, we got Benny Snell, and what's the third running back's name? He didn't look bad last night. I can't remember his name. Whatever. They have a good opportunity here against the Falcons, but I do think we could see a three-way committee against the Falcons. So good matchup, but is it good from a fantasy perspective? A little bit too much of a gamble. In terms of the Falcons, is there anyone we really want to start on the Falcons right now? Other than Cordero Patterson, the flex? I don't think so. I don't think so. No. I mean, I want to like Drake London. It's a good matchup for London. Maybe go Drake London if you're desperate. But Kyle, what's good, bro? Should I trade Hopkins for Hollywood and Pollard? Ooh. Have Walker, Etienne, Wilson, Akers, Harris as my running backs. My wide receivers are Kirk, Watson, Pickens, and Kupp. That's close, man. I mean, Walker, Etienne, Wilson, Akers. So adding the additional running back and Tony Pollard does help you. In terms of the receivers, I mean, you lose Hopkins, you gain Hollywood Brown. Both these guys have really tough upcoming schedules, so it's close here. Hopkins brings better volume, but super, super close. Super. I'd probably do the trade because you got Etienne hurt. Wilson's got a bad matchup or two. Akers and Harris, really tough to trust. And he's still good enough receiver value out of Hollywood Brown. And both Hollywood and D-Hop have tough matchups coming up. So I don't think you lose a ton of value. Until week 17, they play the Falcons. So that could be a big game for Hopkins and or Hollywood. But yeah, I think I'd definitely consider this trade, Kyle. How do you feel about it, bro? All right, looking at the 1 o'clock games, we got Jets at Vikings. You got to fire up Mike White this weekend. You got to. Garrett Wilson's a good start. Elijah Moore, sneaky. Elijah Moore in the flex, I don't mind. Who's going to start at running back for the Jets? I don't know. But they have a good opportunity here. We got to monitor Michael Carter's health day to day at the moment. In terms of the Vikings, fire him up. Fire up JJ. Fire up. Ooh, Kirk Cousins is a little risky. I mean, I don't want to undermine the Jets defense. But you got to start JJ. You got to start Dalvin Cook. You don't have to start Adam Thielen, but he's still an option in the I just think this game could get a little ridiculous. I think defenses could bend in this game. So I do like this game script at the end of the day. Tough matchup against the Jets, though. Benjamin, what's up, bro? Would you rather have Swift or Rachaad White rest of the season if your playoffs are locked? Ooh, that's close. You know, man, DeAndre Swift has a very favorable playoff schedule. Very favorable. Let's take a look. Week 15, he gets the Jets, which is not great. Okay, so when I looked at playoff schedules initially earlier in the season, it was good, but Carolina has stepped up. He gets Carolina in week 16. They're playing better against the run than they were previously. He does get Chicago in week 17. So I don't hate DeAndre Swift. The question is, will he be fully healthy at the end of the season? Let's take a look at Rachaad White's strength of schedule through the playoffs. So, let's see. Cincinnati, tough. Arizona, not too bad, not too great. Carolina, not too bad, not too great. So Swift has the better schedule, but just with the risk around around DeAndre Swift, I probably go Rachaad White. You know, I want to say Swift, but my gut is telling me go with Rachaad White. I mean, it's just imagine getting down that stretch and you no longer have Swift as an option, right? It's just tough, man. I want it to be Swift, but I think we got to go Rashad White here. What's up, Purple Cat? Good to see you, bro. A few questions, full PPR. Boyd, rest of the season. I think Tyler Boyd is perfectly fine to hold on to your rest of the season. Like, you kind of know what you're getting out of Tyler Boyd. Like, hopefully he's in the flex for you. I will say, the last couple of weeks have been extremely disappointing for Tyler Boyd. Extremely disappointing. With Jamar Chase's absence, we really expected a higher ceiling out of Tyler Boyd, and he has not shown us that. He's had 2 really good matchups in the last 2 weeks, and a really good matchup in Week 9 against the Panthers. Although that game got a little out of hand, and the run game was working, and they didn't really need to throw the ball. But he still had 9.6 points in that game. But like Week 11, against Pittsburgh, like that game was like essentially a shootout. And he had just 2 receptions off 7 targets for 42 receiving or 6.2 fantasy points. This past week, I don't want to say it was a shootout, but it was an offensive-minded game. It was a close game till the end. He had just 3.6 fantasy points, 2 receptions off 4 targets, 16 receiving yards. But he gets Kansas City, Cleveland the next 2 weeks. He should be able to bounce back. But you know what he is. Like he's a boomer bust option. He's someone you want in your flex. What do you think of Darius Slayton, Burks, Zay Jones, and Johnson? Need to start one. Okay, well, Darius Slayton's got a really good matchup this weekend, so I would consider Slayton. But you've got good options across the board here. Like I still think Treylon Burks has a little bit of a tough matchup against the Eagles, but this should be a matchup where he can come out and prove himself. So I'm not against Treylon Burks. He's played very well the last 2 weeks. Looked really good this past week against the Bengals in a pretty tough matchup. I think Zay Jones against the Lions is a solid start. And I like Deontay Johnson right now as well. The Falcons, a great start too. It's super close between those receiver options, man. Super, super, super close. I just got that feeling about Treylon Burks, though. I think I stick with Treylon Burks. But honestly, man, if you go with any of the other options, there's nothing wrong with it, man. Not even close. Tua or Lamar both have kind of tough matchups this weekend. I go Tua, though. Give me Tua. Hope that was helpful, man. It's really tough on the second question, man. What's up, Clamped? Should I accept this? I'm getting Saquon for Ramondre and Hollywood Brown. Super close. Ramondre's like 2 spots behind Saquon, so I don't actually know if I do it. I think I hold on to that receiver value in Hollywood Brown. Super, super close. Ramondre's not that far behind Barkley at the moment. All right, Bryce, what we got here? 2 flex. Carr, Fields. Man, sucks that Fields is not healthy. Stevenson, Walker, Connor, Murray, Kamara, Pirine, running backs. Stupid. Diggs, Adams, Hollywood, Evans, Allen. Receivers are great. Commit. Do I trade Kamara and Evans and Hollywood for Kelsey? So you lose Kamara. That leaves you with Stevenson, Walker, Connor, Murray, and Pirine. You're probably okay there. You lose Evans and Hollywood. That leaves you with Diggs, Adams, and Allen. I would consider it, bro. You lose some pretty decent receiver depth here. You lose a good running back option as well. So it's... and you got Deontay Johnson. Okay, that helps a little bit. It's Kelsey, man. I consider it, Bryce. How do you feel about it at the end of the day, man? How do you feel about it? I consider it for Kelsey for sure. Huge positional upside. I would also add if you want to offload Komet because you're not going to need him, maybe you can get an additional player out of that too. Do I trade Miles Sanders for Foreman and Andrews? Other guy has no running back and needs to win to make playoffs. Good trade offer. It is fine if you need a tight end. If you don't need a tight end, I wouldn't do the trade, Lucas. But if you need a tight end, it's a fine trade. Yeah. You should advance the 1 and 2 places in all leagues to league number 1 for next year fantasy. That would be interesting. It is an interesting idea, but honestly, league number 1 doesn't really mean anything. Like league number 1, 2, 3, and 4 honestly means absolutely nothing. So, but maybe it's something to think about, like a Champions League or something. Or Kamara and Evans for Henry. Also, Murray or David and Njoku or Kamara for Andrews. All those are on the table. That is a lot to process. Kamara and Evans for Henry is not a bad trade for you. That doesn't hurt your roster. Yeah, I mean, you lose one receiver, that doesn't hurt you too bad at all, man. You gain Henry. Just be a stupid running back room, which is already stupid. Latavius Murray for Njoku, that's fine. Like that trade straight up is perfectly fine. Kamara for Andrews is also okay. Yeah, I mean, any of these trades are fine for you, bro. Any of these trades are fine, but I'd rather have Kelsey over Andrews personally. It'd be tough if he can somehow pull off the trade for Henry, and then turn around and pull off the trade for Kelsey, which would probably be really difficult to do. But if he could somehow do that, that'd be incredible. Kyle, I'm thinking about doing it. I think my lineup probably going to be Walker, Etienne, Kirk, and Brown. Then flex Pollard and Watson, Wilson. I don't know about Cup and Dobbins, so I think the two players will help me. I think it's a pretty good trade, man. I think it's a good trade for you. Let's see. What's up, Vic? The vacay is going good. Thanks for asking, bro. I feel like it's flying by already. Non-PPR standard. Need one flex to pair with Walker and Jones. Monty at the guaranteed volume are Jamal. Ooh. I like both these backs a lot. I think I went Monty over Jamal Williams in the rankings for the week, so it's super close. It's my heart says Jamal Williams. My gut says David Montgomery. Jamal Williams is a safer start. Vic, I think Monty probably brings a little bit more upside, a little bit more risk. I'd probably go Jamal Williams, but super close. Super close. I got you, Purple Cat, of course. Thank you for the fancy question. What's up, J Dubs? How are you, bro? Great to see you, man. How's it going? Still 12-0 in the IDP league, killing it, man. Are we on the Zonovan night train? I'm not on it or off it. I'm optimistic. I'm cautious because Michael Carter's still day to day at the moment, and Ty Johnson got some work, and James Robinson was a healthy scratch last week. So, let's keep in mind James Robinson could be back this week. So I'm optimistic. I think Zonovan Knight could continue to play well, but I also think there could be a lot of touches in that backfield if Carter's not good to go. All right, let's see. But they do have a good enough game script and matchup for the week for sure. Mooney out on the year, man. Does it salvage Claypool? I think so. They got to throw to someone, right? It's got to be Claypool, but I always like Claypool more as like a number 2, number 3 option. But yeah, they got to throw to someone, right? Let's see. Prey and LeBron still going at it. Yeah, Broncos country's struggling, man. I don't think they're riding right now. Yeah, you had. I know I had Monty over Jamal. I just and I even talked about it during the stream. It's like I just really, really want Jamal to be higher overall. I think both are really good options. Jamal brings a really the thing with Jamal is he brings a super safe floor. The upside is just inconsistent because of DeAndre Swift being around. But when Jamal hits, he's going to hit, he's going to have 2+ touchdowns like we've seen. Well, we've seen 3 touchdowns in one game and multiple games with 2 touchdowns. So I think I'll put it this way, Vic. I actually think Jamal and Monty bring a really similar floor for the week. They both bring a certain amount of upside, but I think Jamal could end up bringing a little bit more upside. It's super close, man. I'd probably go Jamal. I know it sounds crazy because I had Monty higher. Monty just looked really good last week. He really impressed me. And Green Bay did not look good against the run this past week. And Green Bay kind of feels like they're in shambles. So I won't be surprised if Monty outscores Jamal, and I won't be surprised if Jamal outscores Monty. So I can go back and forth on that one all night. Evan, new sub from the defensive stream video, liking the content. Let's go. Welcome to it, Evan. Welcome to Catch Fan, man. I'm glad You enjoyed Stevens must-start defenses for the week. Welcome to Catch Fan, man. Great to have you. This is not my usual setup. I'm on vacation, so you can expect a little bit higher quality content in the future from the live streams. But I'm so glad you came out tonight, bro. Welcome to it, man. Do I trade Godwin and Pittman for CD? It depends, Dan. If you need the receiver depth, ultimately I probably hold here. If you don't need receiver depth and you just want to go out and get a better overall receiver, I probably do go with CD. But no disrespect to Godwin or even Pittman, who playing just fine in full PPR. Cooler Hand was good, bro. Should I trade Fields and Gus for Mixon? I have Geno. I need a solid RB2 for JT, who's on bye in round 1. It's close here. It depends on who's your other quarterback, right? Who do you have other than, well, if it's just Geno, right? I guess you kind of said that. That's okay. I'm not against that. I just think that if there's one reason, literally one reason to hold on, well, I don't know if I want to say one reason. If there's a strong case to hold on to Justin Fields, even if he's banged up the next couple of weeks, like we'd have to get clear-cut indication that he's just not good to go for the rest of the season. But I think that the Bears are going to let him return. Keep in mind, he does have a bye week in week 14, so I think there's a chance he sits through week 13. But he gets Philadelphia and Buffalo weeks 15 and 16, which is ugly. But if you're going to hold on to Justin Fields and stash him away for any reason, it's because he gets Detroit in week 17 of the fantasy playoffs. So he's a great play to hold for the fantasy championship. On the other hand, Geno Smith gets the Jets. It's a tougher matchup. With that being said, I still think it's a good trade to go get Mixon. Yeah, I still think it's a good trade. But I always try to play devil's advocate and kind of, kind of look on it. If you don't do the trade, what will happen? If you do the trade, what will happen for you? Potentially. Either way, right? But is it a good trade for Mixon? Is it a fair trade? Yeah. Yeah. And you gain a running back who's kind of like, we're not that far removed. We're like 3 or 4 weeks removed from the 55-point performance from Mixon, where it's like no one would trade Mixon. And now we're at the point where it's like, oh, he had a concussion, and Samaje Perine's looking good, so I'll trade him, right? Yeah, so I think you're buying Mixon at an appropriate level. I think it's a good time to do it, right? And don't get me wrong, man, I do think that Fields, like I said, has an opportunity to pop off. And he can even pop off against those good defenses. Like he's done it earlier in the season against defenses like the Cowboys, still had 26 points against them. So if you're good to go with Geno, that's okay. It's a good trade for you, bro. Silly question, but how do you count for variance in fantasy football? Is it true that some players are more consistent, or is it always a bit random how players perform? Yeah, I don't think it's a silly question. Both things are true. I think what I look at primarily are statistics, and the main thing I look at are fantasy stat lines, right? So I'm primarily looking at essentially how many double-digit performances. You guys hear me say double-digit fantasy performance like all the time, because that's really what I look at. Like the more double digits you have and the higher amount of those digits, like the closer you are to 20 to 30 to 40, the more I'm going to recommend starting you. Because even if those players have the down weeks, you're like, well, whatever, because on a consistent basis, they're still getting you double digits. So, but at the end of the day, it is always a little random. It is always anyone's guess. That's why I always tell you guys we don't claim to be experts. What Steven and I are like literally just two best friends who have played fantasy football since elementary school and just absolutely love fantasy football. And during the NFL season, just spend a ridiculous amount of time around fantasy football. And we were like, hey, let's turn this into a YouTube channel. And that's what we did last year. So, what we are is just a community for everyone to come out and talk fantasy football and be able to, gain confidence in our rosters on a weekly basis and help each other out. So I'm always going to give you guys my advice, which I don't like the term fantasy expert. I don't know if anyone's truly a fantasy expert, but what I am is maybe a fantasy enthusiast who is trying to point you guys in the right direction. So I do think at the end of the day, man, it's always a little random. But you can still look at stats on a regular basis, but like it's really difficult to look at previous year stats then go into the next year based off of those stats, which I still do, but you always have to kind of be thinking ahead and thinking of, scenarios, but it's like it's so tough, man. Like you think of this past year, man, like uh and fantasy drafting is so different than like how the regular season turns out. Like for example, I really liked drafting Josh Jacobs this past year due to the value of where you could draft him, right? I just felt like contract year, I felt like the Raiders offense was going to be improved. And that didn't really happen. But I just really like going after Josh Jacobs because I felt like he was a really affordable running back in fantasy football drafts, and too many people were counting him out, right? And he had a great year, or he's having a great year. So it's tough to kind of like call the future like that, you know? So drafting a little bit different than on a week to week basis. But yeah, I'm just going in circles here now. So I hope that answered your question, Purple Cat. What's good, Nady? Hey, man, need a RB2, have Pierce, Swift, Wilson, and Pacheco. I go Pierce against the Browns. Good matchup for Pierce. Give me Damien here. I don't want to talk about this subject, J Dubs. It keeps me up at night, bro. Package Swift and Pierce to try and get someone like Walker. You can. That's fine. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that, man. I'd rather have Walker than those two. But I do think Pierce is going to have a good week. Yeah, this is like the children's bunk bedroom. This is the room I was in earlier, but there's this light behind me, and there's no light the way I was sitting earlier, and I looked like I was like a Sith Lord streaming earlier. So it's a pretty nice house, actually. My receivers are Evans, Pittman, DK, and Godwin. What do y'all think I should do? Godwin and Pittman for CD. Oh, I mean, it just leaves you with Mike Evans, DK, and CD. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Honestly, though, if he can trade Evans and Pittman, call me crazy. I might keep Godwin. But either way, it's fine. If I don't beat Spencer this week, I won't make the playoffs in the auction league. All my team is week 14 buys. Yikes. Well, you never know. You never know. I like the auction league right now. It's like one of the leagues I have a chance to actually do something in, man. I'm doing pretty well in that league, and then in one of my old long-term leagues, my double quarterback league. But I had I lost like 5 in a row. But I'm still like number 4 in the league. But that's a team or league that I was like 7-0 in. So I don't have cooler hand. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate the fantasy questions. All right, let's see. Lessons from the season. Never doubt Kelsey or Tyreek. Man, Tyreek was another player as the end of draft season started going underway. I was like, why is Tyreek Hill falling so far back in so many drafts? Like, then we started to see the chemistry out of Tyreek and Tua in training camp. I remember talking to Steven about that before our league drafted. I was like, man, I think so. Yeah, man. Never doubt those two, regardless of what team they're on. Do I start Carr or Watson? What's up, Gob? Then Komet or Moreau till Goddard comes back. I'd probably go Foster Moreau over Komet. I know, it's crazy because the last couple of weeks, like we were all on Komet and then now we're down. I mean, if Fields is out there, you can go Komet. If he's not, go Foster Moreau. Carr or Watson. Obviously, we don't love both options here. Don't necessarily hate them. Man, where did Carr finish last week in terms of fantasy? He had a pretty good game, Dan. 295 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. That gives him 20-plus points his last 2 performances, 17.9 or more points his last 4 performances. He gets the Chargers. Should be another shootout. It's moved up to QB 15. No, I'll go Carr. I think the Browns are going to run the football a ton. I think they're going to ease Watson back in. But you never know. I'll go Carr for now, man. All right, let's see. Love to see the fantasy convo going in the chat. What's up, Jeff? Sold high on Lazard and Foreman for Waddles, looking like a fleece. Well, yeah, it is actually. Yes, jeez. Okay, for some reason I was thinking Watson and Foreman, and I was like, oh wait, no, Lazard and Foreman for Waddle was a very good trade. Very good trade, man. Yeah, that's beautiful. Let's go, Gob. 1-11 since I subscribed. Let's go, bro. I appreciate that, man. Love to hear that, man. I honestly, at the end of the day, you guys heard this a lot last year. I care about your guys' fantasy teams more than mine. Like, if it comes to Sunday and my team is losing, but I'm like watching the game and I'm like, oh crap! I told them to start Tyler Boyd over Chris Olave, like I did. What was that? 2 weeks ago. Someone just sitting there like, oh crap! Tyler Boyd needs to score. Like yeah. I care about your guys' teams way more than mine. All right, unless we find out Najee is out for multiple weeks, then maybe try to get Walker. It's a good point. Outlook on Christian Watson rest of the season. Will the TD regression ever come? I mean, it has to come at some point, right? It has to come at some point. But, like, does that give us any reason to sit Watson? No. Like, the last 2 weeks, I've cautioned you guys, like, be cautious with Christian Watson. Make him a flex play and just understand if he doesn't top what he did the previous week, don't be disappointed. But now when we look at it, I talked about this earlier in the running back ranking stream. Like Watson is wide receiver 2 in the last 3 weeks. Devontae Adams wide receiver 1. He gets Chicago this week, gets a bye week, then he gets the Rams, and like the benefit that Watson has is you still have Lazard lining up as the wide receiver 1. So he gets less defensive pressure. Then he gets Miami and Minnesota. Good enough matchups there in terms of game script. So I don't think the regression's coming this week, man. I don't think it's coming this week. And I know you weren't necessarily saying that, but yeah, I don't think it's coming this week against the Bears. So at the end of the day, like I think Watson, we've got enough of a consistent sample size. Like for me, it's like 1 week with 32 points when he had 2.2 and 4.4 in his previous 2 games. I'm like, I need to see more. We've seen enough. Like you can throw him in your flex. And the other good news here is like it would be one thing if he scored the 63-yard touchdown with Aaron Rodgers in the game and then Jordan Love came in, because then we kind of be in limbo. Like, what's the chemistry look like between Watson and Jordan Love as compared to Rodgers and Watson? But that's not what happened at all, right? Watson scored a 63-yard touchdown from Jordan Love. So we know that there's enough chemistry between Love and Watson to get it going, especially against a team, your team, J-Dubs, who is struggling right now in the Chicago Bears. So, yeah. It is definitely natural that at some point the regression comes, but I don't think it's quite yet. 3K party, let's go. Let's go. Yeah, we're super close. That was like my goal for the week is we need to hit 3K. I'm not complaining, but if I wasn't at the beach this week, we probably would have already hit it because we didn't get to do our normal Saturday night stream and we didn't do our Sunday stream, which are 2 of the most like productive streams of the week. So, and then the content for this week's a little bit different. So usually those draw on a couple extra subscribers too, but it is what it is, man. All things considered, channel's grown massively, like you're saying, man, and couldn't be more thankful for you guys, man. We'll hit all the numbers when we hit them, bro. So just gotta take it day by day and manage everything, man. Manage everything. So I was really feeling some burnout the last couple of weeks, and so the past 2 weeks or so, I've just been about managing the channel and everything else in my life. So it is what it is, bro. I'd rather give you guys quality content than quantity, you know? And I think a big thing I'm starting to focus on as we wrap up the year is just like as much as I like doing the upload videos, like just coming on and giving you guys really good streams and just really getting the community together and everyone is talking fantasy football, man. So a couple more weeks to grind this thing out, and we're gonna keep doing it big, man. I appreciate the shout out, J Dubs. All right, what's up, Ron? How are you, bro? Always great to have you. 9-3, smooth sailing to the playoffs. Ready for them to start? Let's go. Let's go. Did you see that the Sleeper app has a playoff countdown? Let's go. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Lazard, man. He was balling. He was having a great season. And he was, I mean, Watson has just stolen all the touchdowns away from him, man. Like seriously. Lazard was scoring a touchdown like every week, and he's done nothing as of late. So it is what it is. Is the stream laggy, guys, or did it just lag for a second? Okay, I think we're good. Pray, are you okay out there? Cooler hand, 9-3 first timer, but my league is legit. I just need to get past round 1. Feel that, bro. Yeah, my one of my long time leagues. Super competitive league, man. If I can get through, I'm really worried in that league. I'm going to make the playoffs, but if I got to get through round 1 as well, bro. What's up, Falcons fan? Kamara, Pollard, Sanders, Waddle, Wilson, Pittman start 3. 2 running backs in the flex. Already got Diggs and Higgins in. All right, let's start with that. So 2 running backs. I'd probably go Pollard and Sanders. Kamara has been in a little bit of a bind, and he gets the Bucks. Give me Pollard and Sanders. And go Waddle. Don't bench Waddle. Yeah. Pollard, Sanders, Waddle. Start Diggs and Higgins. I go Geno. Yeah, give me Geno over Jimmy. Give me Geno, bro. For sure. I mean, I'm not against Jimmy, but Geno should have enough opportunities against the Rams. So appreciate that, Nady. Good to see you, by the way, Falcons fan. Off-season draft streams will be on deck. You know it, bro. Dude, doesn't it? I swear, like the season just goes by so fast. It's probably just because like I'm just constantly like on top of like a full-time job and raising a baby with my wife and like normal life responsibilities and like on top of that, I'm just constantly doing something for the channel or live streaming or making content or whatever it is. Just it's literally nonstop for me during the season, which is fine. I love it, man. But I feel like the season is here and it's gone in like the snap of a finger, and the off season feels like it's so long. And also the off season is comparatively much longer than the regular season, but still, and even last off season didn't feel like it really lasted that long. But yeah, man, we'll probably do a mock draft once a week as soon as the season ends because the community likes doing it. It's a good way to kind of gauge. I really feel like we were as a community so ahead of like overall rankings and like sleepers and everything because we did a mock draft like every single week since there was a little bit of a lag there because my wife and I had the baby, but like we literally started doing mock drafts like months before the summertime every week with you guys, and I feel like it just gave us a really good gauge of overall where players were ranked and everything. So I got some stuff planned for the off season, man. I'm excited. Ron, I've been here since we've had like 500 subs. John and Steven really been on the grind. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate the OG members too, man. At this point, I'm hoping my 10 best ball teams advance just so I get kicked out of first round. I need to check my best ball teams, man. I had one that was doing pretty well. Thoughts, ETN, JT, or Wilson? JT. I'm not benching JT right now. Then for flex, Devo, Watson, or another running back. I go Watson. Yeah, give me JT and Watson right now, bro. Watson in a good matchup. I'm not benching JT right now. Yeah, I like Elijah Moore right now. He's a player to go pick up for sure. For sure. What's up, Kilocam? Trevor or Geno? This one's actually kind of close for me. This one's actually kind of close. I might, believe it or not, it is close, but I'm going to go Trevor against the Lions. It's close, but I'll go Trevor. Let's see here. Komet or Greggy D? I know they both suck. What happened to Greg Dulcich? It was like, yes, we have a tight end emerging out of nowhere. Midpoint of the season. This is what everyone needs. He has 3 solid games in a row. He's a start on a weekly basis. He's saved your fantasy team to just, no, never mind. He's another Denver Broncos player. He's not going to do anything. Yeah, this is a tough one, man. I mean, you got Dulcich against the Ravens defense that's been playing well on the worst offense in the league, maybe. Then you got Komet. He's just in a tough spot without Justin Fields. Like that chemistry between them is really starting to show. It's tough, man. I'll go Komet, but I don't like either option. If Fields is out there, then I definitely go Komet, but it's close. Mike White season, let's go. Let's go. What's up, Big Trev? Zay or Thielen, Rashad or Kamara, both PPR. Ooh. I'll go Zay Jones against the Lions. I do like Thielen, though, but Zay Jones has a better matchup. Played well last week. So I'll go Zay Jones. Rashad White or Kamara. I'll go Rashad White. It's very close. Trev, I would trust your gut on that one, but it's very close. How do you feel about it, man? Good to see you, Trev. Broncos Nation? Let's ride. Richie, what's good, bro? Hunter Henry, Conklin, or Jelani Woods? I might go Conklin here. I might go Conklin against the Vikings. Who's got the best matchup? Easiest way for me to check this is actually on my phone. Who's got the best matchup? Conklin gets Minnesota. They are not good against position. Let's see. Apparently this stopped the music. Henry gets Buffalo. They have played well against position. He looked good last week, though, against Minnesota. Conklin's going up against Jelani Woods. I want to like. Tough matchup against Dallas, and I want to like him, but the inconsistency at the tight end position for the Colts is I just can't trust it. I want to like Woods, but I just can't trust it, man. So give me Conklin. Give me Conklin. Go Conklin. Good matchup for him. Let's see here. Ron, I need 2 flexible PPR, Pierce or Williams. And then for the other, Allen Davis or Hawk. Ooh. That's tough, man, because I do like Pierce this week. I do like Pierce. It's a good matchup for him. On the other hand, Jamal Williams is super. I go Jamal Williams, but it's super close. Super close. I think Pierce can have a really good week, though. It's so close there, man. Keenan Allen, Davis, or T Hawk. I go Keenan Allen, but I could go T Hawk. But I'll probably go Allen. Henry's looking good. Let's go. On all my best ball teams. Where would you rank CMC and ETN? I think ETN's kind of falling back mainly due to injury to like the 12 to 15 range. CMC will be fine, man. A little banged up right now, but top 6 at worst. CMC's gonna be just fine, man. Yeah. Broncos Nation, let's ride. Conklin, Dulcich, Johnson, Hill, Thomas, Tanyan. I go Conklin, bro. I go Conklin. I like him this week. How do you feel about it, Caleb? Also Rashad White, but not sure if Lenny plays. I don't think it's all White's role yet. I don't either. Any recommended kickers this week? I should look on the wire or keep Meyer. Maybe Dicker the kicker. Who's out there for you, bro? Suckup got dropped in a lot of leagues. Got a pretty good matchup, but Meyer's fine. I'm sticking with Meyer in a league. What are you gonna do, right? Any Jerry Jeudy news when he'll be back? I did check, actually, coincidentally, earlier in the stream. I don't have an update, unfortunately. Conklin revenge game. Yes. Yeah, so Stevens must-start kickers are out for the week, and he does give you some good options in terms of players who might be out there on the waiver as well. So if you guys have defensive questions, kicker questions, I'm always happy to answer them, but go check out Steven's videos for the week as well. He loves to hear from you guys. Go drop him a comment as well. They both play Monday night. I'm leaning Rashad, but if Lenny is back to Kamara, both are facing decent defenses. Who gets more receptions or finds the end zone is really tough to say. Listen, I agree. I think that Fournette's still going to get work, right? Whether it's at the goal line, it's a third down back, short yardage back, whatever it may be, right? Can get work in the passing game, whatever it may be. It's super close here. I'm leaning Rachaad White, but who will get more receptions? Who will find the end zone? It's really tough to say. You know, the tougher matchup does lie with Kamara against the Bucs, but it could go in either way, man. Super tough to answer, Trev. Tight ends always be crazy, bro. Yeah, I think Meyer is still a good option, but he was a better option when Dak was unhealthy because the team couldn't score. What's up, Joe? Goff or Mike White? Ooh, they're both good options, both in the waiver wire video for streaming options. 6-point pass touchdown plus 10-point bonus at 300 yards. Give me Mike White. Lions run the ball a little bit more efficiently. Good to see you, Joe. So hard to trust Pierce when I watch what that offense looks like. He's a gold nugget in a trash can. Yeah, that's fine. Go with Williams then. But I do like his matchup. Can be a heated game between the Texans and Browns. Both sides are going to really try and win. B-Rob, Sutton, or Slayton in the flex. Slayton. B-Rob a little bit of a tougher matchup this week. Sutton is just boring. Not a bad matchup, but I'd rather go Slayton and get the upside. I'm in a league with no kickers, and I love it. Yeah, a lot of you guys out there play with no kickers. Kickers and defense add a random kind of chaos I love. Won a 20-point Tyler Bass game. Yeah, I just always played with kickers or defense, but I know a lot of people don't, so I get it, man. There's so many formats for leagues now. I mean, it's just fantasy football just evolves like every day. I do like B-Rob. It's a good point. Like, I think B-Rob's the next best option. I do like B-Rob. A little bit tougher of a matchup this week. And the backfield ultimately has still been really inconsistent the last couple of weeks. So, what's up, Richie? What we got here? Keenan Allen, Watson, Mixon, Kirk. Ooh, this one's tough. I think I'm good with Keenan Allen right now, but I gotta go Watson. And Kirk has a really good matchup. And if Mixon's healthy, there's nothing wrong with starting Mixon either. He's got a good match. Oh. Richie, who are you leaning towards? This one's super tough. I mean, you're going to have a good start no matter what direction you go here. But it's super tough here. Who are you leaning towards, man? I mean, Kirk has a really solid matchup against the Lions. So my gut kind of goes to Mixon and Watson, but I really like Kirk. He's coming off a bad week, though. And I like Allen right now. It's tough. Tough. J-Dub says Mixon, Watson. I could go back and forth on that one. Allen and Watson, I'm completely fine with that. Completely fine with that, man. But just think of it this way. If Joe Mixon didn't get the concussion and wasn't out last week, you'd probably be starting Joe Mixon, no questions asked. So I probably have Mixon in there. I go Geno, Nady. I go Geno. Give me Geno. John, who's your biggest miss of the draft and your biggest hit of the draft? You know, it's interesting because I was thinking about this past week. Biggest miss has to be A.J. Dillon. I loved A.J. Dillon going into the year. A.J. Dillon he had a good week last week. A good week 1 and last week. That's about it. I loved A.J. Dillon going into the year. He's done practically nothing. I think he's got to be my biggest miss. If you guys can remember a player who I was that high on who played worse, let me know. But I think it's got to be Dillon. Outside of that, biggest hit, I want to lean Josh Jacobs here. I really liked going for Josh Jacobs as like an RB2 just due to the value. And then the way I was drafting, I don't know if you guys remember, but I would either start with one receiver, I go receiver, running back, receiver, running back, or I go running back, receiver, running back, receiver. So there's a lot of circumstances like around the third round, fourth round, where I needed an RB2, and Jacobs was available, and I kept drafting him, and I kept supporting why I would draft him. So I think I got to go Josh Jacobs there. Another thing that I really harped on was don't draft Cam Akers, draft Darrell Henderson because of where you can draft him. It's just so much better value, you know. Um, I want to say that was a big hit, but it was a decent call. Like you didn't, and you didn't end up drafting Akers if you listen to that, so it probably helped. I'm trying to think of. I really like Jalen Hurts. Like I was. Oh man, we talked about earlier, we were doing mock drafts all off season long, and like early on, man, I was like Jalen Hurts, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Hurts. Like when you could still get Jalen Hurts in the fifth, sixth, like seventh quarterback overall, I was like Jalen Hurts has an opportunity to be quarterback one on the season. Uh, Hurts was one that all off season I was, and as the off season went on, the Jalen Hurts momentum picked up, which rightfully so. So maybe I put that out there. I love Dameon Pierce after the draft. I love George Pickens after the draft, and I loved both of them. And I love Tyler Algier too after the draft. Um, I loved both of them before the Pickens and Pierce hype train started in the preseason. Um, Gosh, I mean, Dameon Pierce's draft value. Like I was drafting Dameon Pierce in mock drafts and underdog drafts left and right in like the sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th round or whatever. And then just out of nowhere, it was like day by day, his draft capital just went up to like the third round. I was like, shit. Well, I'm not drafting Dameon Pierce this year, I guess. I got him in the catch fan league. So I will say I had good faith in Najee Harris. I had a lot of faith in Najee Harris, like just to. I didn't think he'd end up being at such a low ceiling throughout the year. Um, I didn't think he was going to be like top five or anything, but I thought he should stay in like the top 10 conversation for sure. And where he was being drafted, um, I thought was completely fair. So that was probably a miss too. Um, I thought Debo was a surprisingly like getting drafted pretty low after he re-signed. He hasn't done that well. Hasn't done awful, but he hasn't done what he did last year at all. Like not even close. So I got one more miss for you. Justin Herbert. Yeah. I don't want to say it's all on Herbert. I still believe in Herbert to finish out the year strong. But I was I was talking Jalen Hurts could finish as QB1. Burrow, I talked about Burrow a lot too, at least finishing in the top five. Um, but Herbert, I was like, Herbert could also finish as QB1. I was really high on Herbert, and he did not. He has not performed at the level I thought he would perform, whether it's his fault or injuries or whatever it is. Just looking at the draft or pre-drafts, mock drafts, and everything, I was super high on Herbert. So, um, yeah, it's fun to reflect on that stuff, man. What we should do is at some time in the offseason pull up, like at the end of the fantasy season, pull up like a couple of the mock draft streams and like go through them and see like teams I draft and everything. That'd be fun, man. So, all right, we can keep talking about that as we roll through things. That's a good question, bro. Let's see here. I'm not going to try to pronounce. I can't pronounce anything to save my life. Who should I put in my flex spot? DK, Lave, Cook, Pickens. Ooh, all good options, bro. All good options here. Ooh. Ooh. This is super close. Super, super close. I want to go Olave here, though. DK is not a bad option. Cook's not. I mean, a lot of similar floors here. Cook, not a bad option. Pickens has a nice upside this week. He gets a good matchup. Pickens gets the Falcons. Cook gets the Jets. Olave gets the Bucks. DK gets the Rams. Is it crazy to go Pickens here? It's super close. How do you feel about it? Who are you leaning towards? Chat, who would you guys go with? DK, Olave, Cook, or Pickens? Super close there. Super, super close. Jesse, what's up, man? Pittman or Sanders? I mean, I want to go Sanders after what he did last week, but he does have a tough match. I mean, the Titans' run defense is for real. Pittman gets the Cowboys, not a very good match. I go Miles Sanders. Super close. How do you feel about it, Jesse? It's super. Two tough questions in a row. Ghost Hunter, what's up, man? You think trading Devonta, Deontay, and Monte for Adams is a good trade? I have Amon-Ra, Terry, in Hollywood. So you lose Devonta and Deontay. Doesn't really hurt you. And you got CMC, Etienne, and Rashad White. Yeah. Also got Treylon Burks. Yeah, man, go get Devontae Adams. He's playing insane right now. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think it hurts your roster too badly. So if you feel good about it, I'm good with it. Yeah, AJ Dillon was my dude. I didn't end up with AJ Dillon in a single league. So it kind of worked out for me. I was not high on Kyle Pitts. And I'll say this much going into the season. I wasn't high on Kyle Pitts because of where you had to draft him. I didn't like his draft value. So I just didn't draft him. You know, and I encourage you guys not to draft him because I just didn't think he was falling to a favorable spot. Yeah, I was not high on Kadarius Toney at all coming in the season. And he showed some value, don't get me wrong. Who should I try and get for A.J. Brown? I might hold off for week rock out because you're going to sell A.J. Brown pretty low right now. I think he's going to have a big week against the Titans. Bad secondary revenge game. I would hold off a week. I never bought into the Dylan hype. Not just you, but a lot of people are high on AJ last offseason. Yeah. Well, it worked out if you didn't buy into it. DeAndre Swift hurt me a lot. And, I love Swift. I mean, I was ready to draft Swift in the first round coming into the year, but I think if Swift was 100% healthy, he'd be a beast out there, man. I mean, we know he would, right? Yeah, luckily I didn't end up drafting Sutton in any leagues. Or Javonte, you could just say Broncos. Yeah, I didn't draft Javonte either. But I did have him. He was my keeper in my keeper league because I drafted him pretty late the year before. And he just was my best keeper. My next best option was Lamar Jackson in the fifth. I didn't have a lot of good value there. So I had him in a keeper league, and I traded him the week before he got hurt for Kareem Hunt and Drake London. So ultimately, he didn't hurt me that bad this year. Rams are total loss, yeah. Yeah, I was really big on don't draft Cam Akers coming into the year. Trey Lance was unfortunate. And I was good with where Trey Lance was being drafted. Yeah. But it was unfortunate. Steven was super high on Trey Lance. That was his dude. I drafted Hurts everywhere because let's go, bro. Hey, look, I make some good calls. Do you think it's okay starting the Jets defense this week or stream a defense? I personally would stream a defense. They struggled last week against the Bears. I'd stream a defense. People were straight up not drafting until the 7th and 8th. Oh, yeah. It depends on your league. I knew in my primary league I played in for a long time, if I was going to draft Hurts, it had to be early. He went in the thing was Allen was a keeper and Herbert was a keeper. So you already had two top guys out. And Mahomes and Jackson went early. Hurts was gone by I want to say the third round, but it may have honestly been the end of the second round. I think it was beginning of the third. Breece Hall got me with injury. I will say I wasn't super high on Breece Hall coming into the year. It's not that I wasn't high on Breece Hall. I wasn't, because it goes back to draft value. Where he was being drafted, there were other options I thought around him that I liked more that you could get a little bit later. So And I also like going out and getting Michael Carter at the end of drafts because no one was taking a look at him. Kyler Murray's been very up and down. Very up and down. All right, let's see here. 4-game win streak, boys. Let's go, Jason. Played against top 3 teams 3 straight weeks and 1 out. Now have the last 2 place teams as my last 2. Hopefully I can clinch a playoff spot. Let's freaking go, Jason. Let's go. Love to see that. B-Rob fooled a lot of people. Yeah, and I will say, when the B-Rob hype was coming up, I did defend Antonio Gibson. I remember saying a ton those last couple of weeks, like, how far back are we truly going to let Antonio Gibson fall with what he did last year? But we still got a committee at the end of the day. Josh Jacobs in Dynasty was my biggest boom. Let's go. Debo wasn't worth that second round. Yeah, not at all. Not at all. And I remember in the offseason being like, when he re-signed, I was really surprised that he didn't move up closer to the first round. Because before we had the controversy around the contract, like, he was a first round pick in all of our mock drafts. Richie, Akins, Woods, Hooper, Komet. Ooh. Maybe roll the dice on Jelani Woods in a 16-man. But if not, I'd probably just go Hooper. I think Lamar has been a disappointment for Ray to draft him. Yeah, and Lamar was another player who I wasn't low on. But if you guys remember, last year I had Lamar Jackson as a starter and missed the playoffs because he got injured. There are other reasons, but I could have made the playoffs if he didn't get injured and everything. So I was like, I remember telling you guys, I don't have anything against drafting Lamar Jackson. I don't exactly love where he's being drafted, looking at my draft strategy. But I don't have a problem if you go and draft him. But I also don't want to draft him because he hurt me really badly last year. Yeah, Allen Robinson, another guy that I didn't really mind drafting guys like Allen Robinson or Cortland Sutton. And I definitely took them in a lot of mocks. But if they didn't fall to the right spot, I wasn't taking them at a crazy high volume, But I know Robinson hurt a lot of people, like he traditionally does in fantasy. Ghost Hunter, I've clinched my playoff spot this week. I'm going to face a bottom team this week before a showdown with the potential top seed to decide who gets top seed. Dude, you can't have a better way to end your season than that. You're going to make the playoffs. But you get a pre-playoff game, right? Yeah, Robinson on a lot of rosters out there, Caleb. I literally took all the worst outcomes in League One. Yeah. Hey, man. That's why we play. It's a crazy thing about fantasy is you can have a lot of you can have some really good teams, some really bad teams. It is what it is, bro. DK or Pickens, can't trust the Saints and Cook been too up and down. I think Pickens gonna have a good week, but I'll go DK. Fearmouth or Njoku? I'll go Fearmouth. Keep Pat F in your lineups, but Njoku had a good week, and I like Njoku still. But I go Fearmouth. Ramondre, ETN, PJ, I keep Ramondre in your starting lineup. Amon-Ra or Cooper, standard going for the playoffs. I go Amon-Ra. Better matchup for him. Watson or Kyler on a bye. You got to go Watson, right? Sadly, I wasn't either with Pitts. I got him in the 4th round and couldn't pass it. Yeah, I will say there is a point. I think if Kyle Pitts had fell to me, I probably would have taken him. But I was primarily going late round tight ends because I had a lot of faith in guys like Hunter Henry, for example, who did not really pan out. Yeah, I wasn't high on Cole Kmet or even David Njoku, who a lot of people had pretty high on their rankings. But I did love Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert was my primary tight end I was going after in mock drafts that I really wanted to land. I liked Zach Ertz. I feel like there's one more tight end I was super high on in the offseason that I can't remember now, who I feel like didn't play that well. But I was super high on Dallas Goedert, so I feel good about that. And yeah, if I got in mock drafts pick 10, 11, 12, where I had the turn, I would get Kelsey in that circumstance. Or if Kelsey fell to me, Yeah, I go get Kelsey, and I encourage you guys to draft Kelsey in the first round throughout the offseason too. Did I start this week? Niners, Eagles, or Ravens? I go the Ravens, bro. The other two are fine, but I go the Ravens. Brandon Cook's also getting me. Yeah, I mean, he had pretty good draft value, all things considered, though. Um, so I think, it probably didn't hurt you too bad. Rate this Cup, Swift, Javante, Hall, Kyler, Pierce. Well, jeez. Oh, goodness. You did nothing wrong, bro. You did nothing wrong. Can't predict injuries. What's up after the review? Hope you had a great holiday as well, man. Clinch a playoff berth. Let's go, baby. How are you, dog? Guys, if you are not already subscribed after the review sports, go check our guy out. Been kind of riding together since I started doing shorts in the off season randomly, and I think you hit me up on a short video first after the review, or maybe it was the opposite. And then you guys know how it is. If a channel reaches out to me, I always show support. So after the review's been kind of chilling on the channel for a minute here, and he makes great content, man. Primarily a shorts channel, but he does some great uploads and fun live streams as well. So go check out after the review. Go drop him a sub. Go drop him some likes too. Man, I really need to get like. By the way, after the review, two thoughts here. Obviously, tonight's stream has gone a lot of different directions, which is fun. First thing is I really need to get down like a good method of making YouTube shorts and Instagram reels and TikToks. And I just haven't done it. I said like all off season I was going to do it this year and just put out like a waiver wire short every day and then upload it to Instagram reels and TikTok and then just do like 2 or 3 must starts or some sort of fantasy topic and upload it to every format because I know it helps your YouTube channel grow immensely. But I just haven't done it, man. I just haven't because there's adding something like that like takes it's a lot more work than people realize, right? I'm already doing so much in terms of the content for the channel, but I've got to get that process down. So maybe you can coach me up. On top of that, as we move out of the fantasy season and into the playoff stretch, I will be doing more streams that are kind of similar to yours, like just literally watching the games and commentating on them because fantasy will be over. And I'll be doing some stuff around like Underdog and Pick'ems and some different stuff there to be kind of interactive. But what I want to say is I was going to hit you up. We should definitely do a collab during the playoffs this year for a stream. I think that'd be fun, man. So hopefully you heard all that. But if not, I was going to hit you up on Instagram or something. So, all right, let me get back to the chat here. I was only high on Kelsey. That was basically me too. But I thought there was good value in later picks. All right, let's see. Ghost Hunter got Kelsey in the 3rd. Yikes. That's beautiful for you. Joe, Burrow, Brady, or Watson? You got to stick with Burrow here. You got to stick with Burrow. Yeah. Mike Williams or Olave? I'm going to go Olave. Think Burrow goes crazy versus Kansas City? Yeah. I agree. Good offensive matchup there. Caleb, how would you rate this trade in Dynasty? I traded away Garrett Wilson in a second round 2023 pick for Mark Andrews. I know I asked this weeks ago, but I'm curious now. I still think it's a good trade. I still think it's a good trade, but Garrett Wilson looks like pretty damn good. But hey, you got a starting tight end for time to come. The question is, what does he look like if Lamar Jackson is not on the team? I know we talked about that before. Garrett looks like he can get it done with a true quarterback. So that probably stings a little bit, but I wouldn't beat yourself up too much, man. So let's see. Do I trade Godwin and Walker for Tyreek? If it doesn't hurt the rest of your roster, I still have JT Mixon and Najee. Yeah, Go for it, man. I mean, you get Tyreek Hill. Go for it, bro. I got no beef with that. You're getting Tyreek. Nady need two flexes: Kamara, Pierce, Cooks, Palmer, Chiron. I go Pierce against. It's a good matchup for him. How did Palmer finish last week? A good game, right? My brain is just dead these days, guys. 5 catches, 10.6 points. Gets the Raiders. I'd probably go Palmer. You can go Kamara. He's got to not be disappointed if he has a bad game. I go Pierce, and then Palmer is a safe play if you want some upside but risk. Go Kamara. Let's see. I know I asked this. I'm not sure it got skipped. Mike White, Jimmy G, or Mariota. I said go Mike White, baby. Let's get it. Let's go Mike White. Davis Dixon in the house. What's up, young Deezy? How are you, bro? Do you miss me? What's good, V? How are you, man? Great to see you. What up, what up, what up? Mixon or Walker rest of the season? Ooh. I probably. Ooh, it's so close. I go Mixon. Super close. Super close. I still think Mixon is tied to the better offense. That's going to have a more competitive push towards the end of the year, but it's super close. No disrespect to the Seahawks, who are also going to have a competitive push in terms of playoff seeding, but I go Mixon. It is super close. Super, super, super close. Whew. I'm sure this has been asked a billion times, but thoughts on Deshaun Watson? Yeah, it has been, but that's okay. I'm going to continue to say this throughout the week. I think the Browns are going to run the football a lot. I think they're going to ease Watson in. And on top of that, the Texans can't defend the run to save their lives. So why would you not run the football? I think this is going to be a heated matchup. Both these teams are going to want to win this football game. I think that at the end of the day, the Browns are going to do whatever they can to win this game. The smart thing to do is going to be to run the football a ton, use Nick Chubb, especially use Nick Chubb, but also use Kareem Hunt. At the end of the day, man, I think Watson gets eased in. I think Watson will probably be fine as a starter towards the end of the year and everything, but I just don't love Watson right out the gate. Let's see what happens first. And I think when we look at this matchup, this is a Nick Chubb matchup, man. I mean, look at Nick Chubb last week. He played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, very good against the run. And he absolutely balled out. The Texans are like literally the worst team in the league against the run. Do I start Watson or T-Law? My opinion, it's T-Law. Does he have running upside? I don't remember. He did when he was an active quarterback almost 2 years ago. Yeah, for sure. I just think we see what happens with Watson. He's back in. Should I start Carr over Watson? I would start Carr right now. Yeah, he's got a good matchup, a competitive matchup. I start Carr. He's got 20 or more fantasy points, about 18 or more fantasy points in his last 4 matchups, 20 or more in his last 2 matchups. I think the Browns want to flex and show off Watson. It could go that way. It could. But we just don't know. I don't like not having a sample size to go off of. I want to see what happens before we do anything here. And the Texans aren't a good defense, but they haven't played awful defensively. So part of that is like they rank pretty modestly around the quarterback and receiver position. Part of that is because teams just run the ball so well against them. Quarterbacks and receivers don't need to put up points, It could go that way. I just want to see what happens first. That's all. That's all. So I think that you look at this offensive game plan, why would they not run the football? You know what I mean? Guys, my beard is getting ridiculous. I haven't shaved this thing down. Yeah. I need to shave my beard. I just keep seeing my beard going in all different directions. Just ask Commanders and McLaurin. This is true, bro. It's true. So I'll probably start wrapping things up here because I still got to work on some stuff for wide receiver rankings before tomorrow. We've been on for almost 2 hours. Been a little bit of a slower moving stream, probably because maybe because we're streaming from different software. I don't know. But nonetheless, tonight's stream has been super fun. We've talked about a lot of good stuff, man. A great stream tonight, regardless. So I appreciate you guys coming out tonight, man. I appreciate the fantasy questions. I appreciate you guys hanging out. We'll probably start winding it down here because I gotta try and get up kind of early tomorrow. And I got a couple things. I got to work on my rankings for wide receivers, which actually takes a good amount of thought, believe it or not. Wide receivers, always the most difficult video of the week, whether it's starter, sitter rankings. Pickens, Wilson, Watson, Burks, Sutton. I go Pickens against the Falcons, Garrett Wilson because he's balling, and Christian Watson because he brings a ton of upside. Burks is fine, but a little bit of a tougher matchup. So Pickens, Wilson, Watson. Commanders or Steelers? Steelers. They didn't look great last night, though, so you could go Commanders. Murray or Patterson? I go Patterson. I just hate this Broncos Ravens matchup. I want to stay away from it. Give me Patterson. Nady, thank you for coming out tonight, bro. I appreciate you, dog. Glad you had fun tonight, man. I did too. And me, what up? Start two running backs, two receivers, and a flex. JT, ETN, Stevenson, Walker, Godwin, Wilson, Pickens, Jones, Palmer. Give me JT and Stevenson. Wow, you got some good options. Give me Godwin and Garrett Wilson and Walker in the flex, but you could go Pickens or even Josh Palmer. But I'd probably have JT, Stevenson, Walker, Godwin, Wilson. But you got good options here. Good options. Don't worry, you can have price picks Fridays in the off season. That's true. That's true. Ravens or Browns defense? I go the Ravens. I like the Ravens this week. You tell me you don't just take the ESPN rankings and leave them at that. You dare question our sports overlords. I don't think I've ever looked at ESPN's rankings for fantasy football. I've done some mock drafts and mock draft season through ESPN, but that's the closest thing. Yeah. Oh man, good stuff. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and wind it down. Guys, hit that like button on the way out. Hit that subscribe button if you guys tuned in. You guys are new to the channel. Make sure to check out the Discord down below. Check out the Instagram as well, and all that good stuff. Instagram, Discord, you guys can always hit me up on there. Good places to reach us outside of YouTube. But if you guys ever need anything, make sure to drop a comment on any of the YouTube videos for the week, any of the live stream videos for this week, since everything's being live streamed this week. And yeah, Santos, what's up? Thanks for being on tonight. I hope you're enjoying your time. Oh man, we got you at the end here. I'm sorry, bro, but I'm glad you stopped by and said what's up, and I appreciate the kind words, man. Of course, man. I'm glad we got to hop on and hang out with you guys for a bit. So, kind of long days at the beach. I've been kind of waking up early with the wife and the baby, but we're having a good time, man. We're just kind of like chilling. We're not doing a whole lot, It's cold, so the baby loves. We're right on the beach, so the baby loves going down to the beach, and she just like is super happy whenever we go outside. She literally isn't like she's not even smiling. Like I don't know how to explain it. She just like I just like we just hold her outside, and she's just like she's just so content. She is smiling, but it's not like teeth smiling. Although she only has like 6 teeth, but she just loves it here. She's super relaxed. Like she's going to bed at like 7:30, which usually she goes to bed between like 8:30 and 9:30. But like she just wants to sleep and like chill. Like she's having a great time. So we're having a good time, man. Not doing a whole lot, but it's super nice. Like just walking down the beach and then like hanging out with the family and chilling. And we love this area too. So it's super nice, man. So we're having a good time. I appreciate it. Flex, Allen, JT, or Williams. You can't bench JT. Put JT in your flex. All these are great options. I think Keenan Allen has a good week. Jamal has a good week. Garrett Wilson has a good week, but you can't bench JT. They're all great options. I think they're all good weeks. I go JT though. So, all right, guys, I'm signing off for the night. About 2 hours. So great stream. Thank you guys for coming out, man. Thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate you guys, man. Like I said, drop a comment on any of the YouTube videos for the week. Make sure you guys go check out Steven's kicker, must start kickers and must start defenses if you guys want some input there, and he'd love to hear from you guys. Steven might be streaming with me tomorrow, but if not, he'll be on Thursday night. We'll be on Thursday at 7 p.m. for sure. So you guys will see Steven this week. Sushi, I go. What's up, Bob? Good to see you, bro. I go with Tua. Yeah. It truly is Santos. It truly is. It's like crazy. Like the littlest things are like crazy to her, and like it just makes those things so much cooler. You know what I mean? Andrea, we're signing off, but I'm so glad we got to see you. Hello, Andrea. How are you doing? Great to have you swing by. Hope you're doing great. All right, guys. I'll be on once or twice tomorrow again, so I'll let you guys know on Discord and everything. But I'll probably go hop on for wide receiver rankings in the afternoon or in the morning or sometime. Just depends on how the day goes and everything. Then I'll hop on for fantasy Q&A, and Steven might be on with me tomorrow night. He might not be. Thursday night, Steve and I will be on for Thursday night, pre-Thursday night football Q&A, and I'll probably do a quarterback tight end rankings stream as well earlier in the day. So I'll talk to you guys throughout the week, and I'll keep you guys updated. So appreciate you guys, man. Love you guys. Love this community. Love the Catch fam. I'll talk to you guys soon. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Check out all the links down below, and I'll talk to everyone soon. With that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, yes, out here on the Catch. And peace.